Hello everybody, I'm HackleBeast and I am casting the first of a long line of Ribbon tours. Ribbon wants to mix it up a little bit, and today we have all ZvZs with no Spire. On the right hand side is the yellow Zerg Sziky, and on the left side is the white Zerg dOTY. I think it's really cool that dOTY wants to off-race. And I heard a little bit about this. I heard dOTY plays Zerg when he plays 2v2. But the weakness of his 2v2 play is that he's terrible with Mutalisks. Obviously not going to be an issue today. Meanwhile, on the other side, Sziky, obviously famous for his absolutely mind-blowing lane control. So, this should be fun. In a way, it's a rematch of ISL 3 finals, a fantastic series in their own right. But in a way, it's like something completely different. All depends on how good dOTY is. He's very good with the Zealot control. Lane control isn't that much different. I'd imagine it's a little bit harder. At least a top tier play. Alright. dOTY going for the overpool. Interesting. Overpool not something you typically see in ZvZ. It's a little bit on the rarer side. And dOTY going for an overpool either means he knows exactly what the hell he's doing and he feels comfortable going for like a little bit out of the box ZvZ builds, or dOTY has no clue what he's doing and he's just falling back on the exact same build order he uses for 2v2. Because you would certainly not 12 pool or 12 hatch at a 2v2 unless you got a Zerg ally. Alright. So, firstlings are out for Sziky. It's gonna be pretty easy for dOTY to hold this off with his initial lings. The spawning pool was built on 11. But with an overpool, you don't normally get that hatchery up quite that fast. So I'm thinking maybe dOTY not going for a straight up overpool? Alright. Well, Sziky's also taken expansion, and he's off of a 9 pool. Normally you don't go for the expansion off of a 9 pool for quite a while. So it does look like both players are favoring a fast expansion in this game. Which is a bit interesting. I mean, you take the fast expansion because you want that extra gas. But you can't put that gas towards Mutalisks. Rather difficult to make Mutalisks without a Spire. So I wonder how they're going to be doing this. Looks like Sziky is throwing down the hatchery in sort of a SimCity way, but it's going to allow him to also make a lot more Zerglings once he gets to that stages. And Sziky draws first blood. dOTY, a little bit of a micro mistake there. Going to cost him 2 lings, and looks like that lead one's also quite injured. That hatchery is so well placed. The lings cannot get an arc on it without being horribly exposed. I don't think dOTY has a chance at it. It also looks like dOTY isn't quite reinforcing as fast as Sziky is, so dOTY's at a little bit of a disadvantage in terms of ling numbers. We do have speed on the way for dOTY. Ooh. Well, that's how Sziky was able to get up his 3 hatcheries so fast. He has not started speed. He just finished his extractor. So that's going to be a very late speed for Sziky compared to dOTY's speed that just kicked in. This is a very rare situation. Normally you don't see speed for one player finish this ridiculously fast compared to the other player. So, I mean, certainly Sziky can't be offensive now, or at least I don't think he can. he could try. I mean, he's on 3 hatcheries compared to 2 for a while there. And we do see both players getting the evolution chamber. Obviously not going to be using evolution chambers for what they're normally used for, getting those spore colonies up, but instead going to be going for +1 ling attack. Could be +1 armor. That would be interesting, but I think they'll... Oh. Speak of the devil. Sziky's getting +1 armor instead of +1 attack for the lings. Alright. So, armor's a little bit more expensive. And armor takes a little bit longer to do. But... But if you're the only one who's getting an upgrade, and he does see that dOTY has it, dOTY's also getting armor. Okay, both players going for the armor upgrade. I mean, armor also potentially helps with Hydralisks, if either player has ambitions to go for that in a little bit. And dOTY mining out the minerals here? That's a stack of 40, so with 1 drone that's not going to work. Maybe a misclick? Just accidentally clicking on the minerals? Or maybe he just wanted to send the drone anyway, so he just happened to bring 8 minerals home with him. Doesn't look like dOTY's going to be able to capitalize on that speed advantage, though. There really was no engagement at that time, and Sziky now has his speed up. So both players with speed. Sziky's armor is a little bit faster than dOTY's, but not significantly. And ooh, the second Evo chamber and a lair. Sziky also getting the lair, but getting a Hydralisk den to accompany it. So both players looking to go for lurkers. And oh boy, if you thought lurkers were good against zealots, or you thought they were good against marines, just wait till you see how good they are against zerglings. It's like it's combining the low health of marines, and even lower health for zerglings' case, down to 35. It's combining the low health of the marines with the willingness to impale themselves on spikes. But here we go. Sziky's actually going to move out here, but dOTY has a great arc. I don't think... Well, Sziky's going to be able to win this battle just because he has more numbers. He didn't even wait for +1 to finish. I was thinking that battle went a little bit better than I thought it was going to for him. Maybe he had attacked right when he got that advantage, but no. It hasn't quite kicked in yet. It needs just a little bit more time. But it will force dOTY back. Not horrible losses for either side, really, but it does mean that dOTY's no longer taking the front. Sziky gets a little bit more freedom. And dOTY might be forced to build a sunken colony? With lings and this number, I really doubt that the sunken colony is going to make too much of a difference. And dOTY going for a little bit of a backstab here. Oh, trying to pick off those 2 lings? Gonna be able to get 1. Now, will these lings be able to escape home? There is a whole horde of yellow lings searching after them. But they might. They just might. Hydralisk den done for dOTY, and he's getting the lurker upgrade. On the other side, Sziky also getting his lurker upgrade. And upgrading a ranged attack after the +1 carapace is done. What upgrades are dOTY going for? Ranged attack and melee attack. Okay. So dOTY with his double Evo chamber is getting that melee upgrade to help out his lings. Sziky not getting it. And these 4 lings still trying to get something done. They see the lurker eggs morphing, but there are too many lings at the front. Oh, they're getting trapped. Are they getting beat? No. Those 4 bravelings did not quite pull off the purpose that they needed to, or that they wanted to. so. I don't know. I think this is just going to come down to this is really just going to come down to one position in an engagement. I mean, if you get your lurkers in a good position and your opponent doesn't notice or doesn't have his lurkers in the right position, you can easily pick off that entire line of lings in one shot. Yeah, looks like dOTY is getting a little bit aggressive again with a few lings, but all these engagements, every time that Sziky's lings and dOTY's lings clash, it seems like dOTY is coming out behind. So you need to be just a little bit careful of not falling too far behind, throwing away lings like this. One or two, obviously, not going to make a difference. But, oh, we got them hold lurkers. We got them hold lurkers, but choosing not to engage on it. Oh, the hold lurkers, but the hold lurkers that can be seen by an overlord. Oh man, hold lurker backfire on the part of dOTY. He doesn't manage to lose one. When he does actually shoot, a huge explosion and lots of lings go down. It looks like 8 on this lurker. But man, he lost one of his lurkers. 1 lurker for 8 lings? I mean, especially since they got the hatchery, not what dOTY was looking for there. Getting a little bit too fancy for his own good. And now, trying to burrow those lurkers. There is an overlord flying over, so the overlord will be able to see the lurkers, but can Sziky do anything about it? Lurkers at the top of the high ground mean dOTY cannot attack up that direction. And the Hydralisks are coming out. Hydralisks are going to be a lot better option for dealing with lurkers than the lings are, but still not the best if dOTY gets a few more. But only in numbers of 3, Hydralisks should be just fine at it. Oh man, Sziky using his lurker to attack dOTY's lurker. dOTY did not have vision, so he couldn't return fire, but now with his speed overlord, he is in there. Will not allow Sziky to try that again. And is dOTY thinking about going up that ramp? There's not a huge force at the top of that ramp, and there's a very nice expansion he would like to take out, but oh man, 2 lurkers at the top of the ramp are going to be very difficult to deal with. The Hydralisks might be looking for some snipes here. If the lings aren't guarding the lurkers like this, then the Hydralisks can step forward and pick a couple of them off before they get too many shots off. And it looks like he might just be going for a full-on attack. Yes, he does manage to snipe off 2 of the lurkers. There's still 1 of them left, but that's way too many Hydralisks with lurker support, and the lings are going to go down very quickly. Oh man, and dOTY all of a sudden is looking rather far behind Sziky just after that one small engagement. I guess the nature of ZvZ continues, whether or not there are Mutalisks involved. dOTY getting the drop upgrade. I love the idea of drops in this situation. Drops seem like they're going to be really effective, just considering that the Zerg bases, since they don't have to build gateways or pylons or factories or barracks, the Zerg bases are a lot smaller. And cracklings, or in this case Hydralisks, can do a lot of damage very quickly. So if your opponent's not completely on the ball, you can do so much more damage than you could against a Terran or a Protoss opponent. But let's see what he's able to get here. 7 Hydralisks? Yeah, 7 Hydralisks and 2 lurkers. The lings are coming in 1 by 1. That's not going to work out for him. They do manage to get down the Hydralisk den. That's a start. 1 Hydralisk going down, but now the main Hydralisk forces for Sziky are coming up here, and that should be enough. Is he going to get the Queen's Nest? He almost got the Queen's Nest, but the hive's already started, so really that doesn't do a whole lot for him. dOTY fleeing to this corner before ultimately being taken out. I don't know if that was worth it from dOTY. He was already a little bit behind. Sniping the Hydralisk den's nice, but it's not exactly an expensive building. Alright, dOTY loading up again. This time, six Hydralisks, 2 lurkers, excuse me, 6 Hydralisks, 3 lurkers, 4 lings. But Sziky's waiting. dOTY will be able to see the Hydralisks. He should turn around. Should turn around. Should turn around. Okay. Going to lose one of his overlords. It's fine. It's fine. It was one of the ones that had this load in it. Lurker and some Hydralisks. Looks like this Lurker managed to get 6 kills on the drones and then another 4 lings afterwards. dOTY doing a little bit of two-pronged harass here. That multi-kill counter is broken in that it doesn't show the right number all the time. But that's fine. So, what upgrades are we at? We're at 1-2 on the dOTY Hydralisks, compared to 2-1 on the Sziky Hydralisks. dOTY has stopped upgrades. Has Sziky stopped upgrades? No, Sziky is going up to 3-2 and has a Defiler Mound on the way. dOTY decided to go with the drop tech instead of going for hive tech. And since the drops really didn't work out, Sziky with the tech advantage, Sziky with the upgrade advantage, Sziky also with a pretty nice unit advantage, almost 20 supply up. Not looking too strong of a position for dOTY here. But on the other hand, dOTY has been pushing Sziky back. Sziky's been playing a much more passive style, other than moving out with all those lings in the early game. But since then, he's just been playing defensively, just trying to hold off dOTY. There is an advantage to be had in there. Looks like we're going to have more lurker drops up at the top. Sunken Colony is going to be very effective at dealing with the lurkers as long as they're in range, which most of them are. Is he going to be able to actually finish it off, though? I think that one lurker is going to live. But dOTY, coming up from the other side, the lurkers at the top of the ramp were not moved, so dOTY's going to eat a lot of damage here and not even deal with the Sunken Colony. Sunken Colony's not that bad versus Hydralisks either. And now lurker eggs are morphing in. There is a Defiler behind Sziky with the ling transition. Very unupgraded lings because of those 2 Hydralisk upgrades. Going in for the snipe. No! Almost snipes the Defiler, but the Defiler had already consumed, had enough energy to throw down the swarm. But it is revealed. dOTY knows that his Hydralisks are going to have a lot of issues against Sziky's lings and Defiler. Plague going down on 5 Hydralisks. That's certainly going to make them an easy target for the lurkers. And no, it's still not quite enough to break through this top here. Sziky just needs to deal with these 4 lurkers at the bottom, then he can... Oh, it looks like that one ling was enough to take out that lurker. Lurker was at very low health, and he's cleaning up the rest of the lurkers. GG from dOTY. Sziky wins game 1. Alright. Solid game 1 between Sziky and dOTY. These will be best of 3s until semifinals. I'm pretty sure all of the round of 16 games and all the round of 8 games were best of 3s. Alright, let's get going with game number 2. Alright. Wow, on the left side we have Sziky, once again yellow Zerg, and on the bottom we have dOTY, once again white Zerg. Well, that's convenient. Like, that's pretty slim. There's like, what, 10 colors in Brood War? So the odds of both players being the same color again is not quite 1 in 100. It's 1 out of 81. Still, doesn't happen that often. Alright. So, the map is Outsider. Double backdoor expansion. Minerals actually do matter in this matchup now. So, if we just load up the front with lurkers, load up the front with lots and lots and lots of lurkers, that means all you need to worry about is drops, and you have 4 safe bases. Really, it was both players trying to take their third base that caused the most damage to either of them. It really was the only thing that gave dOTY an opening there. But now Sziky doesn't even need to take the third base, or take that unsafe third base. He can just go for one of the back doors. Alright. So, this time dOTY's gonna go for the very fast gas. Get up to like 100 gas, almost 100 gas, when that spawning pool finishes. I assume it's gonna be for speed. It could be for a ridiculously fast lair, though. He got up to 100 gas and then pulled all of his units off. So, yep, it will be for a fast speed. I guess we want to put pressure on Sziky early. Challenging Sziky to an early Ling fight. A bold strategy, to say the least. Like, I don't know, dOTY Zealots did pretty well versus Sziky Lings, but Ling versus Ling is a different beast altogether. We'll see. Alright, Ling's coming out. They didn't know where Sziky was, apparently. Or, excuse me. I take that back, because this Overlord saw this one. So he knew where Sziky was. I think the Lings were just taking a little bit of a roundabout path to try to potentially avoid the second Overlord from Sziky that was coming across, which they did very nicely. And now, trying to delay Sziky's expansion here. I mean, he's trying to get some good engagements here. He's done an okay amount of damage to the hatchery, picking off a Ling, keeping 3 drones from mining at this point. Normally you only take 2, but Sziky playing it a little bit extra safe against these very early speedlings. What is the timing of Sziky's speed? I want to go check, but we gotta check out this battle first. dOTY getting a nice arc, moving in, taking out a lot of the Lings. The drones are all still alive, but they won't be alive for long. 2 of them do manage to get out of there, but now the hatchery's in serious danger. The spawning pool has no speed at all. Did he finish? Okay, because he finished speed. But Ling's going in again, getting surround on 2 Lings, getting surround on 2 more drones. Sziky losing the economic advantage he had. In every one of these fights, he's losing more Lings, losing more drones, and it looks like he's going to lose his hatchery. GG from Sziky. Who says we can't have a normal-looking ZvZ in this tournament? dOTY takes game number 2. Damn. Yo, I was skeptical of challenging Sziky in his micro skills, but worked out well. Can't argue with the results. dOTY looked pretty damn good. I mean, a little bit of a build order win had something to do with that. Just a little bit though. It wasn't a 12 hatch. Alright, so, third game. One of these players must be eliminated now. In the bottom right is Sziky, has the blue, or whoops, not the blue Zerg. I was looking at this. That's not what color he is. He is teal. And at the top position we have dOTY with his 550 APM. Okay, it's falling now, 500 APM. Only 500 APM. That's the red Zerg. Map is Jade. So this is going to be the most standard map of any of these in the round. Excuse me, most standard of these in the round of 16. No. dOTY, oh, changing up his build once again. Well, going back to the overpool. Going back to his game 1 build. Or yeah. Sziky. What is Sziky gonna do? Sziky going with the 12 pool. Alright, it's a 12 pool versus overpool. I don't know. Let's see. Game 2, obviously dOTY just had more lanes. And we had really nice control and was able to win that game. Game 1, dOTY, he was losing some fights here and there, but what really set him behind was the fact that he went for those drops that didn't pay out for him. He invested a lot in that. So, I don't know, if dOTY just is, instead of going for some kind of gimmick, I don't know if I really call it a gimmick, but instead of going for something special against Sziky here and just plays as normal of a game as you can have in a non-Spire tour, I think he can do really well. I mean, there really wasn't an engagement that Sziky decisively won until rather late in that game when dOTY was already 20 supply behind. And then obviously when dOTY didn't have defilers, and Sziky did. dOTY's hatchery is a little bit faster here. And dOTY's hatchery is a little bit faster despite going for the overpool because Sziky did go for a faster gas. Sziky's speed is already on the way. And this is going to be the first game that Sziky actually gets speed first. dOTY's still working on getting his 100. Sziky's links are rather far forward. And it could be to try to stop a drone scout. But what it's also doing is it's keeping it away from this Overlord. This Overlord might have been able to catch some of the links moving through, and dOTY might have a running tally in his head, but he doesn't have a good count on exactly how many links Sziky has, and he won't until they get to the front. Which means that dOTY, I mean, ZvZ is such a finicky game that way. You could lose because you have too many, you could lose because you have too few. But it does look like dOTY's going to be the one who's aggressive here. It seems like he has significantly more lings. So Sziky may need to make some more of his own. He's getting the hatchery, he's getting the creep colony, but it's just the creep colony at this point, not even the sunken. Oh, but getting a great surround on dOTY's lings. Reinforcements coming in so dOTY can get a little bit better of a position. But the start of that engagement was just way too good for Sziky. dOTY. Oh no, dOTY. This isn't good. In fact, this is just straight up bad. We do have some backstab attempts going in. 3 lings plus 2 more, trying to make something happen in the natural or in the main, but Sziky's way too safe to let anything like that happen. And now he's moving in with his lings, but dOTY gets another good surround. He's gonna live. He's gonna live in a situation where he very well might just have died there. Sziky, I'm surprised Sziky allowed his lings to go so far in and get surrounded like that, both for ones from the main and the ones that were coming out of this hatchery. It's a little bit surprising for Sziky to make that kind of mistake. So, this is definitely starting to look like, excuse me, this is definitely starting to look like the game 1. We have both players with 3 hatcheries. We have the evolution chamber coming in, at least for Sziky, not quite for dOTY yet. And this time Sziky's going to go for +1 attack. I was a little bit surprised when both players went for +1 carapace last time around, but it makes sense if you want to transition into Hydralisks. I guess this means that Sziky isn't thinking about Hydralisks at the moment. Just thinking about making lots and lots of lings, potentially winning it here. He certainly could. He's on, I mean, He's on 3 hatcheries. It's going to be a massive, massive amount of lings. And if dOTY doesn't get his upgrade, he'll have a massive, massive amount of lings with a distinct advantage. I was actually thinking about this. Like, in ling battles, is it better to get the armor upgrade, or is it better to get the defense upgrade? Or the armor or the defense? Yes, the attack or the defense. Because if you get if one player gets attack and one player gets defense, that's the same as if neither player had either. But the player without the defense upgrade spent less money than the player who did get the defense upgrade. So that's a small advantage for the player who got attack. Until you transition to Hydralisks, then things change a little bit. But if you're just looking at a situation where you can either have one or the other as an advantage over an unupgraded opponent, if you have armor, then lings take 35 divided by 4, 36 divided by 4 is 9 hits to kill you, compared to 8 for the other side. We can do math later. dOTY's trying to move in here. And, I mean, Sziky just has too many lings. dOTY's going to have a really hard time getting the right angle there to engage. But now, with Sziky moving so far forward, maybe dOTY can find his right angle now? I don't think he has the ling advantage that he thought he did, though, for moving out. And man, there's so many lings from Sziky. We do have some sunken colonies coming up. Looks like 3. They're not terribly defended by the Sim City, though. But with just that number of links, it's going to take a lot to get through to the sunken colonies anyway. And the Sim City's not going to be terribly important here. Man. Is Sziky gonna go in? Is Sziky going to go in? It looks like he is going to go in. He's going in despite 4 sunken colonies. Just a moving lings. He has so many. I think it's going to work. The sunken colonies are not doing enough damage here. And now the lings have managed to crush all of dOTY's lings and are pushing through. It's that +1 attack. Sziky didn't even have this many lings, this much of a ling advantage at the beginning of the battle. And now, oh man. More lings coming in. That +1 attack, way too strong for dOTY to handle. And GG, Sziky will advance. dOTY putting up a very good effort, especially considering he's playing off race. But we move on. We will not be casting any more of the round of 16, and we'll be moving straight into the round of